Purin says that when he was younger, he saw his father as a role model and dreamed of becoming a hunter, always looking up to him for inspiration. Our protagonist, Soo-young, asks if he no longer wants to follow that path. Purin explains that he is now in the magical engineering department because he doesn't have the talent to be a hunter, being only rank E. Soo-young reflects on this, remembering that he himself is rank F. At that moment, his sister, Sodin, reveals her brother's rank to everyone, leaving the three of them surprised. Embarrassed, Soo-young hears Purin ask how he managed to get admitted to the academy as a hunter while being rank F. Before he can answer, Sodin intervenes and says they were admitted through a recommendation, while her brother rubs her head. Surely, this would attract some resentment. Soo-young turns to Purin and encourages him. If you train hard, you might become a hunter like me, or at least qualify to take the tests. Sobin, who was watching, surely thought that the boy was a spoiled kid who only got in because of his father. The journey continues. Purin teaches his sister how to play on his portable console, while Wooden rests and our hero paces back and forth on the deck. That's when he sees Sobin near the rail and approaches to talk, asking if he feels seasick. Sobin confirms. Soo-young stands beside him, and the boy questions his motivations. Why do you want to become a hunter? Soo-young starts talking about his father, but is interrupted. That's not what I'm asking. I want to know your beliefs, your mindset. Caught off guard by the deep question, Soo-young recalls seeing himself as a child, but admits, I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it. Sobin then begins his speech. When you watch the news, you see many people becoming hunters for the wrong reasons, those who just want easy money and fame. Soo-young agrees that such people exist. They don't realize that becoming a hunter doesn't only bring benefits, you also gain responsibilities, and that's why I hate hunters. Confused, Soo-young asks why then he wants to become one. I want to become someone who can save everyone. That's why I wanted to tell you not to go to the academy. Soo-young pauses. What are you talking about? It's ridiculous that you told Purin he could become a hunter being rank E. When someone awakens, their rank is set and never changes. Besides, entering this academy is extremely expensive unless you have connections or a rich father to fund it. Little does he know that Soo-young's father isn't doing so well. Watch how you say things. I'm here because I awakened my abilities after a lot of training. Awakening abilities has nothing to do with hard work. If you awakened an ability you didn't have before, it just means you didn't know what it did or didn't realize you had it. The fact that you got in through a recommendation despite being rank F and that I'm here too is all just luck. Saying you'll become a hunter without recognizing this shows how immature you are. You really have the same mental age as your sister.
The insult is the final straw. Seong-un lunges to punch him, but mysteriously, his trajectory shifts and he ends up on the ground. His sister panics and runs to him. What happened? He tripped, but he's fine, Sobin replies coldly. Lying on the ground, Seong-un doesn't understand what happened. The moment his punch would have landed, something pulled him down. Sobin turns to provoke him. Someone like you, who can't control himself and starts punching others, will only stain the hunter's reputation. If you were smart, you'd give up. At that moment, something grabs Sobin's foot. Seong-un's porcelain chain. Now Sobin is the one on the ground. Maybe I ended up here by pure luck, says Seong-un standing up, but there's no way I'm giving up by choice. You can stay here all you want, but with your rank, you won't survive. We'll see. And so a duel is set. Midnight. We'll meet to settle this. Later, a heavy rain begins to fall. Sorin, in her room, remembers the fairy telling her that she didn't want to disappear. She suddenly wakes up and finds herself alone, realizing her brother isn't there. Worried, she goes out searching for him in the ship's dark hallways. Suddenly, she gets startled by Wooden appearing behind her. "What are you doing here?" he asks. "I should ask you," she replies. "We're going to hang out in one of the rooms. Want to join?" Happy with the invitation, she accepts immediately, momentarily forgetting her worry about her brother. In the room, a small group is already gathered, laughing. As soon as Wooden sees one of the girl's faces, his expression changes. Strangely, he turns to his friend Yubin. "I'm leaving." "Why?" "You didn't tell me she would be here." Soren, excited, has already entered. "Wow, there's so much food here." The orange-haired girl tells Wooden to stop standing and join them. Annoyed, he sits and decides to stay. "Who's this new girl?" the orange-haired girl asks. "A friend of a friend," or something like that, Wooden replies. Soren waves hello, but the girl doesn't seem happy with her presence. Everyone seems irritated on this ship. Pirin, surprised to see Soren, asks about Seong-eun. "I have no idea. When I woke up, he wasn't there." Pirin also notices that Sobin isn't there and, remembering their strange interaction earlier, suspects something is happening. At that very moment, Seong-eun and Sobin meet on deck for the duel. "Why are you wearing a raincoat?" asks Seong-eun. "Obviously because it's raining, but how are you going to fight holding an umbrella? It's the best way to avoid getting soaked." They stare at each other, both thinking the other is an idiot. They activate their powers. "My power is the water spirit. It's raining, we're surrounded by the sea. In a place like this, my power is amplified. If I lose control, you could die." Seong-eun throws the umbrella away. "You're the one that started this, right?" "Fine. Then?" The water spirit attacks Seong-eun with a powerful blast. He dodges, impressing Sobin, and counters with his chain. "Impressive," murmured Sobin.
However, the chain is easily destroyed. For a rank F, it wasn't bad, but it was odd that his chain was weaker than a real one. Seong-eun is shocked to see his opponent has 2 spirits. "With that thing you're using, you can't do anything. The resistance is so low that it's useless for attack or defense." All Seong-eun can do is dodge. He tries the chain again, but it shatters against a wall. "Is that your only useless tactic? You should have noticed I haven't moved an inch since this started. It's time for you to understand you don't belong here. It's exactly because you haven't moved that you didn't notice." When Sobin looks down, he sees small chains attached to his boots, connected to the ship's railing. Before he can react, he's pulled back against the wall. "I kept using the same tactic because it's all I can do," says Seong-eun, almost self-deprecating. But then, with a victorious tone, "You've been bluffing. Looks like your rank isn't that high since you're losing to a rank F like me." Sobin's expression changes. "Fine, now I'll get serious. Bring it on." Back in the room, a muscular guy complains. "This is cheating." Apparently pulled an SS rank character in a board game. "It was just luck," she says awkwardly. "What is this?" asks Soren. "It's a board game that analyzes your power and creates a character accordingly," explains Perrin. "The SS girl is really overpowered." It's Perrin's turn. He presses a button and gets a rank B mage. He explains that the game uses the same tech as his training equipment and hands it to Soren. Unfortunately, the device doesn't activate. She's sad, not understanding why. The orange-haired girl suggests she might be too weak or lack magical power. Suddenly, the device displays a message: Player 5's ability could not be analyzed. Estimate: Returner. The game just exposed the girl's biggest secret. Everyone is shocked and she gets a random secret class. People are excited and envious, saying it's insane. "Is this true?" asks Wooden. Soren remembers Seong-eun's warning to keep it secret that she's a returner. He explained that most returners face many problems, like losing years of life, struggling to fit into society, and often end up committing crimes and being viewed as disasters. Such a reputation would get her judged. Back in the present, she tries to explain, flustered. "Stop stalling and tell us," insists Wooden, excited. "We want to hear your story. What happened in the other world?" She receives the Dragon Slayer class. Seeing that everyone is curious and not scared, the child inside her feels happy about the acceptance. "They don't care about that," says the brown-haired girl. "Okay, I'll tell you," decides Soren, very happy. However, the orange-haired girl doesn't like this and interrupts. "I've heard most returners face countless creatures and opponents. Have you ever killed someone?" The question freezes the room. Soren remembers the man whose chest she pierced. At the same time, the scene cuts back to the fight. So-bin stands over a defeated Seong-eun. "What a shame. Your tactics were good, but not enough. You must have realized by now that sometimes easy power is stronger than hard work. That's why many give up their dreams due to low rank, while others, like your sister, gain abilities out of nowhere and become unreachable. That's how the world works. Whether it's power, family, connections, or skills, there's a clear limit to what willpower alone can achieve. When you enter the academy, you'll meet people far worse, crueler, and stronger than me. In the end, you're only going there to suffer. Fallen but not defeated in spirit, So-moon replies, "My father wasn't rank S, nor even rank A when he started. Yet he achieved more than any high-rank person. He cleared countless A and S rank dungeons and saved countless people. Everything he did was pure effort. I may be rank F, but I won't give up." Seems like you know a lot about your father. Do you remember the S-rank gate that appeared in Mapo City 7 years ago? So-moon's face hardens. Why are you bringing that up? That gate caused many casualties, not only from monsters, but also from hunters' powers. Why are you saying this? Because no one criticizes what happened back then. So-moon tries to say the hunters had their reasons, but So-bin cuts him off. It was your father who killed my little sister. It's ridiculous to say he had no choice but to sacrifice many to save a few. A hunter should protect everyone. Again, I ask you, why are you doing this? What kind of hunter do you want to become?
Meanwhile, someone was watching the conversation from afar. Back in the room, the orange-haired girl's questions still hung in the air. Soren, unable to answer, stammered and stood up abruptly. "I need to go to the bathroom." She ran off, clutching her chest, while the girl laughed. "Why did you suddenly bring that up?" Purin asked. "Sorry," she replied with a crooked expression. "Anyway, she's in engineering." "No, she's in the hunter's department," Purin corrected. Suddenly, the girl's expression changed. "Then she's not ready. A hunter isn't just someone who fights creatures. Sometimes they must kill people. Taking lives is part of the job. And with that mindset, she's not ready to be here." Far away, Soren leaned against a wall, her heart racing. Why did she run? All she had to say was that she hadn't killed anyone. But just thinking about the moment she fired that arrow made her heart pound. She felt unworthy of being there. The image of the fairy returned to her mind, and she wondered if she could truly make new friends. That's when someone appeared beside her. It was the brown-haired girl from the game. "Hi, I'm Modin. Want to come back and play?" "No," Soren replied, discouraged. "That's a shame. It's the first time I've seen someone get a secret class. Sorry, I'm not sure if I want to join. Thinking about what I went through scares me. I understand how you feel. I awakened late in high school during class. I lost control and many friends got badly hurt. But even so, I believed in myself. I wouldn't let anyone intimidate me. I regained control and survived. All I have to do is keep trying so it never happens again." Modan's words made Soren remember a conversation with Xion, the dream fairy. She had asked about a crying stone. The fairy explained she only talked to the stone, shared her pain with it, and the stone felt better and left. The clouds, the stones, the people, they all shared the same tears, and that's how many friendships are formed. Soren smiled. "You're right. All I have to do is try." As they considered returning to the room, the sound of an attack caught their attention. They followed the noise and arrived just in time to hear the climax of the argument. "No one blames my father because it wasn't his fault," shouted Seung-gun. "Back then, he had his reasons. It was necessary. My sister died. Your father is a murderer." Hidden, Soren heard everything, shocked. 7 years ago, my father killed So-bin's sister? She heard his question echo. "What kind of hunter do you want to become?" "I know you want to be a hunter who saves everyone," answered Seung-gun. "I, on the other hand, never even thought about it. And I know many here feel the same way. But regardless of having a goal or not, if I'm serious and doing my best, in the end, that's what matters." This answer only made So-bin even angrier. We are completely different from each other.
End of the chapter. See you in the next one.